Hello, fellow makeup lover. I'm Mel. Welcome to July's Shop My Stash version of a custom palette. This month, we are celebrating the second year that Keep Beauty Real and Beauty in the Frizz have been doing this Shop My Stash style of palette. If you want to understand the rules, it's just a monthly palette. It's always 10 pans and it follows the theme. This month's theme is a little different. We are doing a mystery palette. All the shades are chosen by someone in our lives. I have Unseen palette before you. And so without further ado, let's get right into what the two palettes are, my reaction, and what I think in creating some looks, and I'll do side swatches for you as well. If that sounds like fun, I hope that you will stay tuned, watch the whole thing, comment like below if you feel like it. It does really help. I will definitely respond to your comment, unless you're like a bot, then I'll just delete you, because we do. Okay, so for my palette for July, Shop My Stash Mystery chosen by my kids. This is the first one. Now, my kids, I had just inventoried all of my eyeshadows and put them in new palettes, and they went crazy, and they had a blast doing it, and they were like, haha, try to make a good look with that. So that is what they made right here. Yeah, so as you can see, this is a palette that's going to be really hard to get very many looks with when you're my makeup using style. Let me go ahead and add some light here so you can really see the vibrance that is the palette that my kids chose for me. Now, if I don't look very surprised, it's because I accidentally opened this palette yesterday when I was talking to a friend. And so I actually had my kids make a new one I have not seen, but in all fairness, I thought I would go ahead and just show you this palette and swatch it for you. And they just picked the shades that they thought would look the worst together. So the first shade we have is a purple shade. This is from Sydney Grace Chase Your Dreams. And that is what I would call Vikings purple. I need to put that one actually back in because it's not labeled. So that one's going to get labeled before it goes back in to my palette. But that's the first one. It's some kind of purple. I'm trying to think if I've got the palette handy to tell you the shade, but I don't. The next is, this is actually a really fun one. This is Lemonade. So it's like we're getting all the Vikings colors. My husband's a Vikings fan. So I'm guessing, if I had to guess, my teenage son probably picked these two Vikings shades, knowing him. But I'm going to give you swatches. Those are pretty much as electric as they can be. I've got a makeup eraser on my lap so that I don't wipe my hands on my pants. And these are definitely going to stain. I've got to grab some micellar water. I like the La Roche-Posay. I know everybody else is like all about the Bioderma, but for me, I like the La Roche-Posay a little bit better. Let's see what else we have here. This is Rustic from Sydney Grace. Kind of an olive green. Beautiful shade on its own, but that would definitely be a hard one. I would say Rustic is a satin. So technically, I think it's in the category of pressed pigments, in case you care. Next shade is also Sydney Grace. This is Purple Sky, and this one is a pressed pigment, and I'm pretty sure Purple Sky came in a mystery bundle, and excuse my chipped polish, but you have to film the days you have to film. And this is a duochrome, so this one is kind of hard to tell, but it's purple and navy. So it's a really pretty shade. I might try to come up with a look or two with this. We'll have to see what I can do. Then they also picked ACI 10 from Adept Cosmetics. This is a duochrome, very thin, holographic style, white base duochrome. Really pretty thin one. I could actually put together some looks with this. I mean, do I think I could put together looks very much with the olive shade and these together? No, but if it weren't for the olive shade, I could probably make that work. The next they picked is from Makeup Geek, and that is Mango Tango. This one is swatching a little bit patchy, but in practice, the Makeup Geek shades, they swatch patchy, but they work really well. The next shadow, yeah, they did pick 10, just making sure. PA02. This is a matte, deep purple from Adept Cosmetics. So really nice, deep purple. My light is continually changing. There you go. Now you can see a little bit better. So let's just put that deep purple shade right here. And then they chose another glittery shade, kind of similar to Purple Sky. This is Lorac Lunar, and this is from Mystic Oak. Mystic Oak was a 6-pan palette, which I depotted and then added magnetic tins to the back. Kind of a chunky, it just has more defined glitter sparkles. And when I say glitter, glitter used to be all made out of plastic. Very few brands are still using plastic glitters, so I just mean sparkle and glimmer. The next they picked is Yamila, or Jamila, I don't know, from Juvia's Saharan. Apologize if I'm mutilating that. If somebody knows the correct way to say it, you can let me know. And it is one of my best true orange shades. This is a hot mess, I'm not gonna lie. Then finally we have a very red shade from Nomad Cosmetics. This is called the Roaring 20s, and it is from the Venice Simplon Express. So pigmented. This is like, if you're looking for an eyeshadow to go with your Velvet Ribbon lipstick from Lisa Eldridge, there you go. Venice Simplon Express. That's psycho. That's psycho. But they don't think that I can make a look out of this. You know, they just don't think I can. And they underestimate my makeup skills. So why don't we go ahead and get right now into a look, and then let's get into the second palette. Okay, actually, let's go ahead and look at the second palette. So we have palette number 1. I don't want to end up with like a crazy look on one eye the whole time I show you palette number 2. So I'm going to close my eyes here, and I'm going to reveal to you palette 2. I cannot see this. This is just in my monitor. Oh, that's really fun, actually. That's so cute. They did good. This was selected by 2 of my other kids, and they call this one Parrot Explosion. That is totally a Parrot Explosion. Yeah, way better. I mean, colorful still, a little bit challenging in some ways, but way better. I love the name, actually. That's so cute. Parrot Explosion. I don't know how they came up with that idea, but this is adorable. I love it. I'm going to go wash Crazy Pants off of my hand, and then I will come back and I'll give you swatches. I don't know, I'm tempted to still do a look with it, but I'm so in love with Parrot Explosion, I think I'm going to skip it, just do some swatches of Parrot Explosion and do a few looks with that as well, so be right back. All right, let's swatch Parrot Explosion. This is so cute. I love this. So cute. Okay, I'm going to just start here and kind of work this way for you. The first shade is called Trust Issues. So this is one that I depotted. So let's do Trust Issues here. It's a really pretty sheer light gold. Like, to me, this is like a glass of sparkling cider, a glass of champagne. Just such a great. Next we have Adore Me. This is from Sydney Grace. It's a matte. It is a fairly true mauve pink. I'm sorry that my swatching fingernails aren't cuter for you, but they broke off right before I started filming, and there is no time to, I don't have time to film if I don't do it now. So that is a pink, maybe it's a little bit more pink than it is mauve. Let's start over here now for the last 8. This first one is one that even has a little bit of hard pan in it. You can see this is Limelight from Makeup Geek. And I actually really like this shade. But it does, from the oils in your fingers or whatever, it can get a hard pan. But it is one of my favorite limey shades. And when I told my girls just now, when I went to wash my hands, that I love the palette, they were like, really? Yeah, I do, really. This is from Adept Cosmetics. Duochrome that flashes green to like a beige, not beige, more like a, what I say? A reddy brown kind of a shade. Kind of like if you think of Red Chameleon from Sydney Grace, but brighter green. So it's not a major shift, and the brown is a little bit less brown. Let me see if I can get you a good swatch. But yeah, you can see that brown and green better in the swatch. The next shade that I have for you is this one. This is called Granny Smith. It's from Sydney Grace, and this is one of their truest cool-toned grass green shades. This is what it looks like on the finger. This is one that I purchased, but then I was like, what was I thinking? This is going to be hard. So there we go. Granny Smith. I just don't do many green looks, but I will. This will be great. Then next we have, this is called Black Ice. It's from Sydney Grace and is a pressed pigment. Pretty sure that this came in a mystery bundle. I think it came in a mystery bag or in a mystery bundle, but it's a kind of a purpley gray blue shade. Sort of reminds me of like a storm, and it can be very purple, almost periwinkle straight on, or almost black down. You can sort of see that, but you're seeing more the silver, but it can almost be periwinkle. So if I would have been doing a periwinkle palette last year, that would have been a good one. All right, now let's do this bottom row, starting with the red shade. This I'm gonna guess is Lucky Penny. No, Lost Princess. This is Lost Princess from Sydney Grace. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't wear red very often, but at one point I was like, I should get a red shade. Now this is very similar to one of the red shades from the Jackie Aina palette, and I did toss out or give away the red shade from Jackie Aina and kept this because I just prefer the format, and the shade was identical, and why would I ever need this shade twice? So, I mean, if I was doing a 4th of July look, I guess these 3 would have been good. This is a July palette. It's a smooth metallic red, no shift. Now we're getting back into another shifty shade. This is Video Chat. Video Chat is from the Heather Austin palette from Adept, and this is a multi-chrome that is gold to peach. Yeah, I would say you can see the orange there, and maybe you can see the gold. Let's see if you can see it good with swatching. This is a really pretty one, and it's got some green. I'm saying green, mustard, peach, and gold, and this is making me glad that I skipped the Clinoa sale. They didn't have the shade that I wanted, and so I skipped it all together, and then I see shades like this, and I'm like, this is kind of one of the shades I was looking at is really kind of here. So you're going to see a lot more of the orange in your screen, but definitely when my hand is down, I feel like I can see it shift a lot more, but you can't always get that to translate to camera. These are just beautiful in person. And then we have, this is Sweet Like Honey from the Kylie Jenner Blue Honey palette. This is one that I've looked for a replacement for, and I've never found one because it's this really pretty sort of citrine shade, and the mattes perform great. So there's that shade. I think that's going to be a fun one to use. I haven't used it in a while. which I promptly dropped and cracked the edge. Made a little bit of a mess, cracked the edge. There we go. So this is a thing with Sydney Grace eyeshadows you do need to be careful of. They can bust on you like that. I'm going to take right from that edge because they fill the pans really full. So if you drop them, they'll do that. This is a gold, like yellow gold, not like true gold, but like, I think a better thing to say would be metallic yellow. That's metallic yellow. No shift. Although you might see some shadow there on my hand, I just wanted to let you know it does not shift. It's just the way that it catches the light. You can kind of see that when the light's hitting it directly, it's just very bright, and indirect is just less bright. So not actually a multi-chrome or duochrome of any kind. There we have Parrot Explosion, the July Mystery Palette. Parrot Explosion. Or maybe Parrot Explosion, I don't know. But the whole thing is a Parrot Explosion. Very fun, very exciting. I've got eye primer on already, so let me go right in to do my first look.
Splice Original.
My Givenchy Lash Disturbia in Red Disturbia. So let's do the Dior Lash Primer Disturbia in Red Disturbia. This is one of my favorite mascaras. Really grabs every little lash, but doesn't stab you. No one talks about it. I have a feeling it'll end up being discontinued. All right. There's the first look. Let's get into something a little bit more tropical. For the other side, for Parrot, I think I should just use this middle row just for kicks. So let me take I've already got the Alter Ego primer. Let's get the hair out of the way. And starting with this green shade, Granny Smith from Sydney Grace, that I never wear, but I was convinced I needed. It's like, oh, I don't have that shade. What if I ever want to do a look with it? Oddly, I was thinking about the fact that what if I do a bird theme look and there's so many birds with green, and there was a challenge a few years ago where you were randomly assigned a bird and then you had to make a look. And I was like, what if that challenge ever comes back? Then I won't be able to do it because I don't have a really good green shade. The lime shade, Lime Light wedge brush. And blend Limelight in. I love this. This is so cute. Totally not me and how I normally would do my makeup, but it looks really good. I think what it is I've just missed using Limelight. Just going to press this in all the way across the lid and then flip it, and then using that AC19 shade right here, which is very limey and then tan and beige, I'm going to just flip that and put that on top. So I think I'm going to add it half-ish over and kind of bring it up so that as it sort of loses its power going up into the brow. Granny Smith, not green apple. And darken that up. Ooh la la. Parrot explosion, here we are. And then I'm gonna use that dark blue. My eyes are very round. So taking to the lower lash line and then pulling it out, I end up with actually like a little pie wedge right here. So it doesn't really work that great for me. I know a lot of people do that, but it just isn't a good fit typically. Smudger with nothing on it. And smudge that out. And then apply that AC19 all the way across as well. Just to bring that green through a little bit and to make it more of a shade that's good on my eye color. And now I really want to deal with, like, I have this like wedge right here with nothing on it, and I'm going to use another fluffy brush and put trust issues right here. There we go. The finished looks. This is look 3. I didn't film the whole how-to, but I did come back after showing this to the girls, which they totally approved. They thought this was the most fun, but I had to go run some errands and go to a doctor's appointment, so I definitely needed to change into one look on both eyes. Okay, final thoughts on this. Parrot explosion. You know, I don't think I would have built a palette with these colors. I don't think I would have done it. So I think for me, it's really fun to see the creativity of my kids doing something a little bit different, and I dig it. I dig it a lot. This was a little harder to put together because of all the silliness at the beginning, but in the end, I actually love both looks. Came out great. It's a fun one. and one that I may even revisit and might even just leave it intact as is, because I think these are such great colors together. Okay, so that is it. I've got 3 looks. So for next month, I'd love to know what you think about Parrot Explosion, but for next month, we're going to do something new, and the theme is going to be the theme All I Need. And what that means to us is going to be a little bit different for different people, but this is not necessarily favorites. This is like, all I need is this. So there are some prompts that go along with it. We'll talk about those when that palette happens in August, but for now, I'm going to leave you with this look, and I hope that we see you again in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye. One more time for you. Parrot Explosion.